So, my dear friends, we still have a discussion about the upcoming months. We already discussed the CFS for January, so it's worth taking a look at the following months now. In this case, we can take a look at February, March, April, May, and June overall. Well then, let's start with February. We've already talked about what January was supposed to look like, and for January, the temperatures are likely to be above what they used to be. However, there will definitely be some incursions of cooler air masses, but we shouldn't expect any miracles here. And the following months also show heat anomalies, which are very clearly visible throughout almost all of Europe. In this case, of course, the strongest anomalies are over Russia and in the northeastern parts of Europe. There, the anomalies can reach 5 to 6 degrees Celsius, the lowest in the Mediterranean basin. This would again show us that we would have quite an interesting situation, in the sense that the weather wouldn't differ much from what we had in January. It would be cooler, because of course the previous years from 1984 to 2009 were also cooler in February. However, later on, the temperatures would again be higher than in those previous years. March. In the case of March, there are no significant changes. I really wish I could say something different, but I keep repeating myself because it's always the same. So we continuously see positive anomalies across all of Europe compared to the 1980s, 2.5 to 3 or even 4 degrees Celsius, especially in Russia, especially up here in the north, Finland, Sweden, Norway. In Poland, similar. Practically all of Europe is in red. They'll say, well, it can't get any redder. No, it can't, unfortunately. April shows no significant changes compared to previous forecasts. The biggest anomaly is in Russia. It should definitely be cooler in April, but according to the CFS model calculations, those temperatures are likely to be a bit higher. Also in the rest of Europe, there are positive anomalies, but on a smaller scale than in the previous months. In the case of May, the situation will be very similar. Across the whole country, there are positive anomalies, with the largest ones. In the east, of course, showing a difference of 3 to 4 degrees Celsius compared to the previous years. On the Iberian Peninsula in Great Britain, it's 0.5 to 0.75. June is very similar, with no significant changes. A slight positive anomaly in Western Europe, and a somewhat larger one in southern, central, and eastern Europe. These are distant months, and it should primarily be treated as a curiosity. And of course, it's worth comparing it later. We still have 3 months left, and it's really just a pure curiosity, so let's check it out. July. In July, there will be a positive anomaly practically across all of Europe. Here, too, the temperatures, according to the calculations, will be higher than in previous years. At the moment, it looks like there are again no significant changes in that regard. September, very similar. The norm, or possibly temperatures above, meaning a positive anomaly. And October has a negative anomaly in Western Europe, but this is really just a curiosity that has practically no significance for us because it's a very distant term. Let's move on to the next calculation, my dear. This time, it's about precipitation. So the precipitation anomaly, let's start with February. In the case of February, we would have a fairly typical situation that has been happening quite often lately. So there will be less precipitation in southern Europe, partly in Central Europe, definitely in the Balkans, and here in Portugal and the western coasts of Turkey. On the other hand, there will be more precipitation in Great Britain, again, Norway, Denmark, northern Poland, and also in areas of Europe. Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia. The central area of Poland would have precipitation that is generally normal here. Would it be generally normal for precipitation here? Marzec. In many places in Poland, precipitation is normal or slightly above normal, while Western and Southern Europe are below normal. Here, there would definitely be less precipitation. April looks very interesting, mostly normal. However, the southwest of the country is expected to be below normal according to the calculations. But here, it doesn't look too bad in that regard. Eventually, the southwest of the country will be below normal according to the calculations. But here it doesn't look bad from this angle. May, my dear friends, looks very similar. Central Europe, Southern Europe, or with precipitation slightly above normal, around 10-20 millimeter. The East, which in this case refers to Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus, shows a slight negative anomaly. On the other hand, in the South, precipitation would likely be normal, and June looks interesting for Poland and Central Europe. On the other hand, in the South, the precipitation would likely be normal. Well, June looks interesting for Poland and Central Europe. It's been coming up for a while now. In the case of June, we would have the Balkans, Italy, France, Germany, and Poland with a positive anomaly in terms of precipitation of around 40 millimeter. There could be a bit more precipitation, southwestern Europe and Eastern Europe. Here it's more likely a negative anomaly. Russia also has a negative anomaly. July looks quite similar. Russia and the Mediterranean basin look interesting, but more so Lithuania and Estonia, because there would be a slight negative anomaly there. On the other hand, there's a positive anomaly in Central Europe. Let's check out the next 3 months out of curiosity. September, the negative anomaly, and a very strong one at that, in Great Britain in the west. And October has a positive anomaly. I'll be honest with you, I'm not really commenting on these last 3 months. I just showed you because it might not turn out to be accurate at all. This is really a long-term forecast, and as you can see, sometimes in these comparisons, it doesn't always turn out to be accurate, but it's worth taking a look out of pure curiosity. I know that many people often check this, and I want us to discuss it. What this means for us, especially regarding these temperature anomalies, is that there will be more periods with higher temperatures, and indeed there are increasingly more of them. Remember November, December, January, and the upcoming warming, where temperatures could reach quite high levels of around 12-13 degrees Celsius. Well, you'll be able to answer the question of where this positive anomaly comes from,